have a daughter who's the result of an affair. I'm aware that this makes me an idiot, and I truly have no excuse. My wife is a saint who agreed to give me a second chance, but it was very clear she didn't want my daughter in her house. I agreed, though I did want to be in my daughter's life. Due to unfortunate circumstances, my daughter Daisy came to live with us as a teen. I made sure all of her labor fell on me so as not to inconvenience my wife. Understandably, my other children didn't want a relationship with Daisy, and I never pushed it. Daisy married into a lot of money. I'm talking about a man who thinks it's normal to use helicopters like cars, and that going to her house is like something out of Downton Abbey. My children met Daisy's husband once, and I thought that was it. But I recently got a text from Daisy saying, "Can you tell your legitimate kids to stop talking to me? Please and thank you." I was confused, and she sent me screenshots of them apologizing for not knowing her better and claiming they loved her. Daisy accompanied these texts with cash emojis. I confronted my kids and told them that they had embarrassed me and should be embarrassed about themselves. I said they wouldn't have sent those messages if she married the local mechanic, and they needed to leave her alone. My kids were hurt, and my wife exploded and said, "How dare I call our kids embarrassments when they were being kind to their sister?" Ha ha ha, OP. Karma got you and your crappy family. Everyone's the idiot here, except Daisy. Why didn't they know their sister from that time on? Why didn't you facilitate a relationship with them while they were young to avoid this in the future? Your wife and legitimates are huge idiots because it's obvious they're money-grubbing wannabe users. Am I the only person confused as to how the family thought it was appropriate to have Daisy move in? The mom intentionally doesn't care for her, and the siblings intentionally ignore her and don't build a relationship like the damage done to poor Daisy's thoughts on family. I'm always fascinated in a trying not to puke way by the sainted wives who take back their cheating husbands on the condition that the product of the affair, the innocent child, be abandoned, neglected, or treated cruelly. I'm even equally fascinated by the men who go, "This is such an amazing deal. My wife is a saint," and then sit around for decades, letting one of their kids be hurt for just existing. I think as a woman, if you can't truly forgive and make space for an innocent child, you must walk away. It's not just the best thing, it's the right thing. Same for men. Stop letting your kids get hurt. Oh, I agree 100%. Cheating husband or wife doesn't matter. Vows and promises are broken. So is the relationship. Be gone and do not come back. But if you forgive and move on, everyone needs to do just that. Move on, not drag everyone through a nightmare because of whatever dumb reason can be conjured at the moment. When Eras Tour tickets were released, my friend Sadie said she would grab us tickets and I'd pay her back. We made concrete plans and I was excited. I've been a Swiftie for years but haven't seen her live. I had to sell my Rep Stadium tour tickets back in the 2010s because my mom was dying and I needed the money to help pay medical bills. I booked the hotel. This past weekend, I was having a little get-together for a bunch of friends, and Sadie was of course invited. At some point, she pulled me aside and told me that she had news. She was leaving in September. I was heartbroken. We've been friends for years and I love spending time with her. I got weepy, hugged her a bunch, and said we needed to get all our thrifting trips in over the summer and hang out as much as we could. Then she broke the news that, as a way to bond with her sister before she left, she was going to be taking her to the Eras Tour instead. I didn't know how to react. She stood in front of me and Venmo'd me my payment back. She was like, "I know you understand." I said that was a sneaky move and honestly really crappy of her. And I don't understand how or why she would do that to me. She got defensive and said that they were under her name and that she didn't owe me anything. I was like, yes, they are your tickets. Legally, you can do whatever you want, but this is still a really crappy and sneaky thing to do to your friend, knowing that there's no way I'll be able to get my own tickets at this point. She shrugged and said, "Sorry, but I figured you'd understand." I asked her to leave and I told her not to come back for the 4th of July party next week. I said I needed to process this and that I'm really disappointed with her and how she's treated me. This is a girl who I consoled through breakups, job losses, pet losses, etc. She looked shocked and asked if I was serious. She ended up stomping off and leaving and texted me later to tell me that she was around if I wanted to apologize for making her feel bad about taking her sister on a bonding trip. I'm honestly heartbroken that I'm going to be watching my show from a grainy live stream instead of being there in the stadium with everyone. I was looking forward to this so much. I checked the resale sites and had a sad little cry about it. I would like to know if I'm completely in the wrong to have just uninvited her. Is that too far? If it was, say, in a month or two, I don't think I would have. I just need time. Not the idiot. She didn't get herself tickets and invite you as her guest, then uninvite you, which would still be lousy. She agreed to buy a ticket on your behalf, with the understanding that you were paying for it. That's how groups of people buy tickets if they expect to sit together. It was your ticket. It wasn't hers to give away. She's a garbage friend. I'd probably never speak to her again. Exactly this. You had an agreement. She buys the tickets and you pay her. She bought the tickets. You paid her. She owes you a ticket. Yes, she refunded you, but you would be successful in small claims to sue for a breach of contract. The remedy would be to enforce the contract or award damages, which would be the difference in cost between what the original ticket was and what they are now. Did you get a refund for the hotel? If not, then she straight up screwed you over. Update. Thank you for the responses so far. I just wanted to follow up on this by saying that I appreciate the sentiment, but I'm not going to sue her over this. I don't think that's a normal reaction or something I enjoy doing. Please don't hate me. My girlfriend and I, both in our 30s, were waiting in line at a bakery. The line was slow and it took us about 5 minutes to get to the counter. The whole time I was prompting my girlfriend to make a decision. She was just persevering and getting distracted by her phone. When we got to the counter, I had to stand there like a tool while she still wasn't deciding, and the girl serving us was just looking at us. Out of courtesy to the staff and everybody behind us, I just say, she'll have a cheese slice. This is her normal choice. I know she'll at least like it. My girlfriend says, I don't really want that. And I say, too bad, we don't have time. The girl behind the counter says, she can make her own choice, with a nightmare of a tone. It annoyed me. I'm the customer. You're selling to me. I said again, I want a steak slice and a cheese slice. That's my order. The girl serving, who's like less than 20 by the way, looked past me to my girlfriend and asked her what she wanted, with a much more smiley tone. It had a very sister sticking together misogynistic vibe, to be honest. Like she was getting a huge thrill out of dealing with some controlling boyfriend. I said, okay, well, if you don't want to serve me, you can cancel the order, and waited for my girlfriend to make her order. By now, she was panicking and just picked some random thing I knew she wouldn't like. The girl got her the chicken and mushroom thing and asked for payment. My girlfriend turned to me, expecting me to pay, but I didn't pay. She said she didn't have her card with her. I said, I know. Our money is joint, so that's not the issue. The issue is that she doesn't bother taking her card or keys with her when we get out because she finds it a nuisance to carry and just lets me take that responsibility. Note that my tone was light and friendly at every step, and my girlfriend was panicky and embarrassed. The girl, however, was shooting daggers at me. My girlfriend apologized to her and walked out, and the girl gave me a really sarcastic, thank you. Well, thank you, as she put the food back. I happily shrugged. My girlfriend told me she was embarrassed, but realized she didn't really have a leg to stand on, so she couldn't press it. I've complained to her so many times about how she forces me to be responsible for the money. I tried to get her to focus on making a choice for the entire queue. The girl, though, was furious. I felt both were extremely immature. So, am I the idiot? You both sound like a bunch of immature idiots. Do you even like your girlfriend? Doesn't sound like it to me. Geez. I'm just trying to understand why your girlfriend doesn't carry her keys or card or cash around. What if you guys get separated for some reason and she can't find you? What if there's an emergency and you leave without thinking, and she has no money or keys? Would she have to call someone to pick her up? It's crazy to me that an adult would walk around without essentials, keys, wallet, and card. Anyway, everyone's the idiot here. You acted petty, but she acted immaturely and inconsiderately in the bakery since you mentioned there was a queue. You need to be less vindictive, and she needs to depend a bit less on you. Being in my 30s, I don't get to leave the house without my ID, cards, phone, or, for that matter, cocoa butter for my lips. I didn't at 18 either, when people didn't have their basics with them. Sigh, not the idiot. The young barista who thinks any man is evil sure is. You weren't doing anything wrong. Speaking as someone who got annoyed at very young ones doing exactly the same, for my benefit, somehow, while I was with a guy like, dude, you had 5 to 10 minutes to sort out what to order. Fun times. My wife, 29, and I, 30 male, have been married for 4 years, and we've been in a relationship for more than a decade. My wife is not a big fan of tattoos, while I'm neutral towards them. Last week, my sister, 32, called me and asked if I would be open to getting a tattoo. The tattoo concept was that it was a heartbeat with her initials subtly integrated into it, and the tattoo would be on my left chest. She would have the same tattoo, but with my initials integrated into her tattoo. We live so far away. She divorced her husband, and she said she felt alone and really missed me. She said that with the tattoo, she would feel connected to me even though we were far away. To be honest, I love the tattoo concept, and I too miss my sister and felt that with this tattoo, we would be connected forever, even though we lived thousands of miles away. When I told my wife about it, she asked me if I could not get it because she didn't like it. We talked about this over the next few days, and she conceded that I could wear the tattoo, but then she asked if her initials could be integrated into that tattoo and not my sister's. I told her that that would defeat the whole purpose of the tattoo, and then my wife reverted and asked me not to wear the tattoo again. I was pretty frustrated by then, and I had already made my decision. I told my wife I was going to get the tattoo on my chest, whether she liked it or not. That came off a bit rude, but I just wanted to end the discussion. Was I the idiot? The scream I scrumped because what in the Lannisters is going on in this family? If your sister insists this isn't a weird idea, ask yourself, why did your sister wait until she was divorced to bring up the idea? You are the idiot. Anyway, get the tattoo. Then you and your sister will have 2 things in common: divorced and matching tattoo siblings. Ooh, matching tattoos and matching divorces. Very chic. Left chest? Just say over your heart, that's where it'll be. The place where one would normally put a tattoo of their wife or kids. I wonder why your wife suggested her own initials. That's why. Pick another pulse point like your wrist. That way you can see it and think of your sister without looking in a mirror. And your wife won't think of your sister every time you take a roll in the hay. I wonder if OP knows he and his sister getting matching tattoos, despite living thousands of miles away, will not make them feel more connected to each other. Dude, you are the idiot for how weird that is. And I'm from Alabama. But is this really the hill you want to die on? I was the result of an unplanned pregnancy when my mom was 17. My bio dad had dipped and her parents didn't want to be involved with me, so she had it rough. I don't have too many memories of that time. Still, I remember a crappy apartment and sometimes feeling guilty because she wasn't eating. When I was 7, she asked if I wanted to meet her boss, and suddenly our lives changed overnight. My first memory of him was letting me drive a golf cart because he had the type of house where you needed a golf cart to get from the pool to the tennis court. We moved in with him shortly after, and my mom became a rich trophy wife. My stepdad was good to me growing up. I'm not going to say he loved me like his own. They have a daughter together, but he treated me like his own until we fell out. My wife and I have fallen on some hard times, and I recently found out that my mom was talking crap about how my wife is incompetent and a bad wife and mother and expects a charity handout. She then ranted about how young she was when she had me and how no one ever gave her anything. I confronted her and she apologized for gossiping, but didn't seem sorry about what she said. I blew up and reminded her that her whole marriage was a charity handout. My mom got angry, but I doubled down and pointed out some facts. 1, he was engaged to another woman when they met, the type he was supposed to marry, owed money. 2, yes, my mom works now, but her career is more of a fancy hobby he's financed. And 3, I reminded her how crappy that apartment was. Now the family's furious with me, and my stepdad apparently wants to beat my butt. I would have asked her if she liked it when people gossiped about her when she was struggling. Not the idiot. Your mom needed a little reminder, it seems. It's ironic how quickly she forgot the help she got. Family drama at its finest. Yeah, some people just need a reality check from time to time. However, info. What specifically happened between your wife, your mom, and stepdad? What specifically was your falling out with your stepdad? I find it very hard to believe that a loving parent who went without eating so you could, and a loving stepfather who invested in you long beyond your childhood, with college, a job, house payments, and more, suddenly stopped loving you and completely cut you off because they completely unfairly don't like your wife for absolutely no good reason? We were in Colorado for my mom's birthday before we got married, and all heck broke loose. My mom found out we were spending Christmas with my in-laws for the second year in a row, and all of their pent-up resentment of each other came out. Later, my wife was hit by a snowball. My mom swears it wasn't her, and my wife lost it and called my mom a rich man's puppet and said she was going to call CPS and my sister would be put in a home because they let her have a cocktail the night before. My wife was so upset that she didn't want to attend my mom's birthday dinner. My stepfather told me that if I walked out of the house that night, he would call a lawyer and change his will. My mom told him to stop being a child, but I guess she thought he was serious because she took his phone. My mom and I met for coffee and apologized to each other the next day, but he was never the same and found an excuse to fire me. Based on this, everyone's the idiot here. OP, you and this entire family are rich, entitled idiots. The only one who might not be an idiot is your stepdad, but he's still rich and entitled. At least he recognizes that about himself. Your mom is spoiled from the comfortable life she's gotten used to. What she said about your wife was definitely out of pocket, and she owes you both an apology. Your wife is vindictive. Even if she wasn't planning to follow through, threatening to get CPS to investigate your parents and get your sister taken over a snowball is messed up. You're an idiot who has no conflict resolution skills. Your mom keeps making snide comments. Set the boundary that you'll end the trip early if she keeps it up. Honestly, your wife threatening CPS would have had me rethink the entire relationship. Your stepdad is doing about what could be expected. He invested heavily in ensuring you and your mom had a good life. It's reasonable to expect some baseline respect and courtesy. When you retracted that respect, he retracted his support. After you turned 18, his support was entirely out of the kindness of his heart. I don't think threatening to beat you is a great behavior, but I'm not surprised. He chose your mother's side about 20 years ago. It sounds like you're the one who flipped sides here.